Welcome back to RuneCast, everybody. Today we have a special guest with us as we explore the potential correspondences between the tarot and the runes. So there are a few things in my library that talk about the potential correspondences between the Major Arcana of the tarot and the 24 runes of the FUTHARK. But I thought I would bring a special guest, a tarot expert, Misty Rainwater Lights from Siren Tarot, to come and join us.
Hello, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for being here. She and I both thought it would be interesting because I know almost nothing about tarot, and Misty's learning about the runes. I know almost nothing about astrology, but Misty knows all about astrology. And I know almost nothing about her version of numerology, but I know about Runic Numerology. So this little mini course of videos, we will try to, and this will be the first one with tarot, we'll try to explore all three and see how astrology, tarot, and numerology fits into the runes. So with that, what we're going to do is I'm going to take the runes off the altar for a moment so we have room to show. I'm going to put on the runic necklace for divine guidance as we explore and try and learn today about tarot and runes. So there have been very few, like this book has one reference to tarot and runes. This is a very famous book, by the way. Every rune library should have a copy. There was one runester that I know of, famous runester, and that's Edred Thorson, who tried to correlate all 24 staves to the tarot. So we're going to look at his interpretation. We're also going to look at this book, which I found in my library, Holly Morag's book. This book goes into it a little more in depth, and they try and correspond to 22 of the 24 runes to 22 Major Arcana. Again, we're going to test against the expert, and then we're going to test my knowledge on the runes. And then when we close, we're going to talk a little bit about what Nigel Pennick wrote, one of the great rune masters, in his book, The Complete Illustrated Guide to the Runes, where he talks about the possibility of correspondences. So, let's start with Edred Thorson, okay? Now, if you would, Misty, pull out the Major Arcana for me. This is a basic Rider-Waite tarot deck, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and how many cards in a tarot deck?
78.
And how many Major Arcana?
I should know this. Well, 22, because the Fool is 0. So, yeah, 22.
Okay, so 22 Major Arcana, but then there's 24 runes in the Elder FUTHARK. So there's a difference right there, right? Like, how are we going to get 24 to fit in a 22? We shall try our best.
This will be ambitious.
This will be ambitious. And then while she's pulling out the Major Arcana, I'm just going to go over what the famous rune master Edred Thorson divined as far as it goes. And I'll try and get a rune stave here to kind of go across the page. But basically what he's saying is Fehu corresponds with the Tower and Aries. Would you concur?
The Tower is Aries,
okay.
But if Fehu is about money, I don't see how it corresponds to the Tower.
Well, it also has properties of love and one of the primary goddesses of the north. So I'm thinking that's what he's thinking. But then he says Uruz corresponds with the High Priestess.
The High Priestess is Cancer. Isn't Uruz Taurus? Taurus is the Hierophant.
You would think, because Uruz corresponds with the ancient extinct bull, the wild bull, the Arrakis.
There's the Tower.
Okay.
The Emperor, that's Aries. These are both Aries cards, the Tower and the Emperor.
The Emperor, Thurzaz, Thor. We'll take a look at all of these in a moment.
Star, Aquarius. Temperance, Sagittarius.
Okay.
The moon, Pisces. And people get it wrong. They say the moon is a Cancer card because in astrology the moon rules Cancer, but in the Major Arcana the moon is a Pisces card.
Okay.
I think that's it for the major. This is all minor.
Okay. And so we should be dealing with 22 cards here, you said?
Yes.
And in one book I was reading that
Oh, there's Justice. That's Libra. Oh, the Hermit. I'm not done. The Hermit is Virgo. The Lovers is Gemini. The Chariot is Cancer. Wheel of Fortune, Sagittarius. Magician, Gemini. The High Priestess is Cancer. Judgment, Sagittarius.
wow.
And that is the Major Arcana.
Okay, she's gone through the whole deck. So let's see, we have 22 here.
Yes.
And apparently these 22 correspond with the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Have you heard that?
The Kabbalah?
I guess.
I don't know. The system that I use is from Linda Goodman's Star Signs, Numerology, and that's the Kabbalah. I know, but I don't know.
Well, let's take a look, for example, at just the first rune, Fehu. Idrid says it's the tower. Let's see what Holly Morag says. And this is kind of interesting. Okay. So when I think of the tower in runes, when I think of the tower, well, in Fehu, I don't know.
Could Fehu be a windfall, unexpected money?
Not really, no. Fehu is more about accumulated wealth and dealing with the wealth.
Generational wealth?
And the goddess.
Inheritance?
Okay, so let's see. He says, Raiho is the emperor. Okay, Fehu in this book is the emperor. So already we have a difference, but Rune Master Thorson says it's the tower.
Well, they're both Aries.
Okay, so tower and emperor are Aries?
Yeah.
Okay. So Fehu in my mind is, more about love, wealth.
So that's Venus.
The goddess.
That would be Venus.
And which card is
Venus is opposite Mars, which Mars rules Aries. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. So the opposite of this would be, well, going by astrology, it would be Justice. Where is Justice? Justice, that's Libra, which is ruled by Venus. And then also the Hierophant, which is Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus.
So
the Hierophant.
Okay. So wealth, the goddess.
This is tradition and status quo.
Wealth, the goddess, and love. Which Major Arcana is the best one for that?
Oh, the goddess of love is the Empress. That's Venus, actually. The Empress, that's Venus, the goddess of love, fertility. See, there's Venus right there.
So yes, Fehu has a lot of fertility implications.
Then that's the Empress, definitely.
But also it has the wealth with it.
Well, Venus is not just love, it's also what we value. Venus is also money.
So wouldn't the Empress be a more direct card to correlate with Fehu?
Absolutely.
Okay. And this makes you wonder, look, and this is unusual for runesters to go into the tarot because they're very different.
Yeah.
But one book has the Emperor, the other one has the Tower as the possible correlation. So I'm with you. I'm leaning towards Fehu more being the Empress.
When I see this, I think of divorce, a sudden shock, a sudden change.
Sorry, I bumped the camera.
Unexpected change.
But I'm going to write Fehu and Empress for our analyzation of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we have Urus. So, some basic things about Urus is its strength, it's male. It's persistence. It has healing aspects. It's primal. It relates to the god Thor. Which Major Arcana would indicate.
See, this is the Pope. This is, well, if you go beyond Catholicism, I mean, you have to. This is about tradition, and it's a very rigid card. I see it as a card of black and white, wrong, right. Similar to Justice, and they're both ruled by Venus. This is Taurus.
How about primal energy, healing?
Primal energy healing. Well, I would say the High Priestess for that. That's Cancer. I would say that. That's feminine. That's feminine authority.
But then again, here's the disconnect because...
Feminine, masculine.
Because Uruz is, normally thought of as more masculine energy. But healing, primal energy, strength.
This is strength. This is Leo. Endurance.
Endurance is also an Uruz characteristic.
Then I would say strength.
Okay, I think we are coming up. We're making real progress here. Okay, so far we have Fehu, Empress, Uruz, Strength. Okay, next up we have Thor. We have Thurzaz, Thunder.
Isn't that like
lightning.
A catalyst, something that changes your life? I would say the Tower for that.
That one, I think, more will correspond with Hagalaz, which is disruption, chaotic. Yeah. But Thor, you think of all the Thur words. Thorn, Thursday.
Thirsty.
Thunder.
Is it sexual?
Lightning. It's very sexual. It's somewhat sexual. It's it's a force of nature. Powerful, painful also. It can backfire on you.
Can it suggest violence?
Fertility, phallic.
Virility, because fertility is feminine, virility is masculine. If it's virility, it would be the Emperor. Virility, fertility. Masculine dominance, masculine strength. I mean, he's the big king daddy of the tarot. He's the big king daddy of the cosmos.
And that might be Odin.
Usually a father.
Yeah, that might be a rune more associated with Odin.
Okay.
This one is more associated with his son. Fire, phallic, power.
And it has to be Major Arcana.
Yeah.
Well, the sun, this is Sowilo, isn't it? Because this is the sun, this is...
You would think.
Sowilo, Leo.
Let's go to what the books say. So far, we're 0 for 2 compared to the books, but I like what we're coming up with. You know what I mean?
This would be... Well, it's Mercury, it's Gemini.
So...
There's the devil. The devil is...
Thorson says it
very
is...
sexual. It's Capricorn.
Thorson says it's the Emperor.
Okay, well...
So we kind of in agreement with that?
Yeah, that makes sense. The Emperor.
Let's see what Holly says. Now his are all and not in order. So let's find Thurzaz here. Death, Temperance. Where's Thurzaz? Justice, Uruz. Incidentally, he says Uruz is the Wheel of Fortune.
I wouldn't get that.
It doesn't make any sense. He says Thurzaz is strength. So between the Emperor and strength, what are we talking about?
For Uruz, I would say strength over the Emperor. Okay.
The 8th card shows a young woman holding the jaws of a lion. Okay. All right. Meaning health, strength, courage, rule of influence.
Stamina.
So strength for Thurzaz.
Definitely.
Okay. So this one we're jiving with so far. Okay. All right. The 4th one is Ansu's. So let me put down strength. You got to put strength in there. Although, oh no, wait, we put Uruz was the strength.
Yes.
So could it also be Thurzaz, or should we put the Emperor?
I don't really see him as Thurzaz.
Would you put him in the place of Uruz?
Well, I mean, you have 24 and this is 22, so you could use a card more than once.
Possible. I like the way you're going with that.
Okay.
So what do you think? We have a rune coming up that is all about the sun.
Sawilo, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although these books don't correlate it with that, but you can see the difficulty we run into already.
I mean, even with astrology, there are so many schools of thought. There are different house systems. There's tropical, there's Vedic, even just using Western astrology. Some say that Pluto rules Scorpio. Some say Mars, the traditional ruler of Scorpio. So there's all kinds of different schools of thought.
Let's put Emperor...
And with numerology, there are various systems for numerology.
/strength, possibly. We'll bifurcate that one there. Okay. The next one is Ansuz. This one is closely related to Odin. It usually means like divine communication from the god, higher consciousness.
That'd be El
reason
the
its
magician.
Element is air.
Yeah, Mercury, air, rules Gemini.
Okay. So
this is the card of law of attraction. This is manifestation. He's using all of the elements to manifest. He's using water, the cups, pentacle, earth, air, sword, and then wand, fire. He's using all of the elements to manifest.
Okay. Next one, Raidho or Raidho.
And see, I think of radio, I think of communication, I think of Mercury for that, but you said it's more like the chariot because it's travel.
So,
this would be, that's travel.
Journey, movement, directing, a course of action.
Yeah. The chariot, El Taro, that's Cancer. Cancer's cardinal. The cardinal signs are about action.
In charge of your own path.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are making good progress here, the chariot. Okay. Next one is Kinaz. Kinaz is all about knowledge. Okay. So
esoteric or material knowledge, worldly knowledge?
Well, runes is very inclusive, so all of the above. It's all about the knowledge, the torch, to know, learning, teaching, clarity of thought. It's a fire element, and it has feminine polarity.
Well, the Hermit, which is Virgo, is about going in deep to find the answers from the divine.
Oh, yes. That's got to be Kinaz then. Hermit.
Yeah, Virgo.
So enlightenment?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of tricky because also the opposite.
Kinaz is very much about enlightenment, illuminating, bringing things out of the darkness into light, coming into knowledge of.
The Hanged Man and the Hermit are very similar. Virgo, Pisces. I call this the most spiritual axis in astrology, the Virgo-Pisces axis.
Okay. So which one is more about?
This is more about enlightenment, the Hanged Man.
Hanged Man. Okay.
You have to sacrifice your material comforts to come to this enlightenment, this spiritual knowledge.
Some folks say that the Hanged Man is Odin because he hung himself upside down on the world tree for 9 days to discover the runes and bring them to us.
Yeah.
Then the next one is Gibo.
And that's gift.
Right. It's the balance of giving and receiving. So it's a...
That's temperance.
It's a harmonious balance.
That's temperance. That's Sagittarius.
Okay. Temperance.
Divine balance. Yeah. See, the angel has one foot on the earth and the other in the water.
Very balanced. Okay, great. So then we come to the 8th rune with it, which is Wunjo. Wunjo is about the fulfillment of, it's about happiness. Happiness, fulfillment, joy. It's about the outcome of, the fruitful outcome of your actions.
Okay.
Let me give you some more pointers on Moonjo. Let's see. It's
Is it following your bliss?
joy, perfection, all that is beautiful and lovable, the fulfillment of wishes, the realization of one's time and will.
The star, Aquarius.
Okay, the star.
You're inspired and you're following your bliss, similar to the Fool, but the Fool is more reckless. This is more of a thoughtful energy.
But it's the fulfillment of it, like the
Yes,
completion of
the
that.
star would be that.
Okay.
Aquarius, yes.
Man, we're rocking and rolling here. Okay. 9 is Hagalaz. This one, like I said, it's about disruption. I'll give you some more pointers.
That's the Tower.
Ordered change, disruption, shamanic underworld, subconscious weird coming out. The goddess Hela.
Okay, well, that would be the devil then. Hela, that's where we get hell from. Where's the devil? Yeah, the devil.
Change and disruption that comes after perfection.
At its highest vibration, this is Capricorn. At its highest vibration, the devil is about knowing yourself. You know where you're weak, you know your flaws, and it's about integration. You're integrating your material self, your baser instincts with your knowledge.
That might come further down.
Shadow work.
That might come further down in the Manaz rune when you're self-reflecting, trying to become your perfect self.
Well, it's not really about reflection.
When you're peering into yourself. Okay. I think the Tower because of the disruption.
Yeah.
Right?
That makes sense.
Shamanic underworld, subconscious, ordered change, and disruption.
Does it mean like ordered from the divine? Because you have no control over your life. It's happening to you. Your life is disrupted.
Yeah.
You don't plan this.
Right.
You don't plan lightning.
It's got to be the Tower.
Okay.
And why neither one of them, I don't think, put the Tower there. Tower's one of the only cards I know anything about in the tarot.
Yeah, it's one of the more popular, more widely discussed.
Next one is Nathiz, or need, representing the need fire. This is necessitation. All of our N words, needy, necessity, they all come from this rune, which means need.
Well, carnal desires, impulses.
It's related to the future and karma, debt, guilt.
Yeah.
What follows is
with the runes, do they have like shadow runes, negative runes, dark runes, and then light runes, positive runes? Don't you have that balance of, well, yin, yang, feminine, masculine?
Every rune has a polar opposite. For example, the polar opposite of Fihu is Dagaz. Every rune has a polar opposite, but every rune also embodies both negative and positive, pretty much.
What would you say is the opposite of Nathiz?
Well, let's see.
Because if you find the opposite, you can find the opposite.
Okay, so Nathiz is the 10th rune. So if we go back 10, we go Dagaz, Othala, Ingwaz, Lagus. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to rune backwards. Ingwaz, Lagus, Manaz, Ehwaz. Before Ehwaz is Berkano. Before Berkano is Tiwaz, Sowelu. Before Sowelu is Algiz. Okay, so we're at Algiz. Algiz is about protection, awareness.
Okay, then I would say this is Nathiz. The devil is Nathiz. Capricorn.
Okay. Devil is Nathiz. It's rune is goddess is related to Skuld, which is the future, karma, debt, guilt.
Karma. Saturn is the planet.
Right?
It's the lord of karma. Saturn rules Capricorn. So yeah, definitely.
Nathiz would
The
be
devil
the devil.
is Nathiz.
Okay.
You can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need.
So just if you're keeping score, folks, we're down to the 11th rune, Okay. 11th rune is Isa.
And that's stasis, that's stagnancy.
Preservation, though. Also
This is the
preservation.
opposite of that because that's change, that's mutability. So the opposite of this, well, I mean, this is death, it's transformation.
Wait, I thought oh no, we did devil, not the death. Something that
This is not stagnant, this is not stagnant.
It's like you're in self-preservation mode. You're still, you're not moving, you're frozen, ice.
Well, see, it's strange because I call the Hanged Man the most passive card in the Major Arcana. Because with death, there's transformation. And ideally, yes, enlightenment. But in modern terms, I see that as a very passive card.
Okay.
It's reflective. This is reflective. This is communing with your higher self, the divine. There's just so much religious symbolism.
Yeah.
It's hard to get past that.
So what is a card of self-preservation, of stasis, like you said?
Well, this is definitely staying in one place. It's status quo. Stasis, things staying the same. You want to keep things the same. You want to preserve the status quo.
Right.
That's Taurus. Taurus is very resistant to change.
The Hierophant?
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is Yira. Yira is the harvest. It's time. It's cyclical. It represents a cycle.
Would it be the Wheel of Fortune?
Maybe.
Sagittarius.
It's
mutable. It's always changing. It's always in motion.
But it also represents fertility and the harvest. It's working towards the harvest and the accumulation of the harvest.
This is the last card in the Major Arcana, 21. This is Triumph. This is Dominion. It's the fixed modality. Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, Taurus.
Okay.
Fixed.
It's fertility, Freya and Freya, harvest, cycle, the return of the seasons. It's a hopeful rune and the result of the previous action. It's friendly, encouraging, and can be used to speed things up or slow things down.
I would say the Wheel of Fortune. Sagittarius is the most optimistic of the 12 signs. Jupiter is the most benevolent of the planets. Well, Jupiter, Sun, but I would say Wheel of Fortune.
Okay, Wheel of Fortune.
Jupiter's the great benefactor. It's Santa Claus.
Okay, you want to keep going or should we pause it here?
No, keep going.
Okay, the next one is Ethwas, the 13th rune. And it's all about strength, the spine, balance, a bow, strong.
Is it impersonal? Is it kind of cold, kind of removed? Is it cool? Is it cerebral? This is Libra. This is a very cerebral,
It's
cold.
taking the incentive, take the plunge, action,
The Fool.
endurance,
Aquarius,
um,
which is opposite Leo, but sometimes, well, not sometimes, the opposite signs mirror each other. So this mirrors strength because Leo, Aquarius.
okay, so the Fool.
I would say the Fool. You're taking the leap of faith.
Yes, and you want to know if you should go for it, and you should.
Yes. Yes.
That's definitely Ethwas. Okay. Okay. 14 is Perthro, and Perthro is all about the mystery and chance, the mystery of life and birth. It's often said that it resembles a dice cup. Because
So it's feminine.
yeah, it's feminine. And let me just go over here. Birth, life, connected to the norms, hidden potential, something that's unknown, that we're not supposed to know.
The moon or the high priestess. When the high priestess shows up sometimes, I say, okay, you're not supposed to know. it will be revealed when it's supposed to be revealed. Where is the High Priestess?
We haven't done her yet.
There she is. Divine, feminine authority, your higher self, your higher power.
High Priestess.
The occult, hidden knowledge, Cancer.
I think so. Okay, that's good. 15 is algaes. We talked about algaes before. Protection, awareness. Let's see. It has both female and male aspects to it. And it's a conductor. It can be used to channel. Healing, protective. You know, it's
romantic or erotic? This is Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden, the lovers. That's Gemini.
It's funny you would mention that because it goes back to the old legend of the Ask and Ambala tree, the two trees that were turned into the first humans who created the human race.
Oh, I never heard that.
So, yes. And its male form is like the upside down peace sign, and its female form is the peace sign, I believe. Yes, female is upright and male is downright. So
it's like a tree with the branches going up.
Or down into the roots. So I think you're thinking the lovers?
Yeah.
Okay. Although it doesn't really have any, well, I guess it does have some sexual connotations. 16, Soelu, the sun's energy.
This is the most positive card.
It's positive. It's, it's very positive. Okay, so it just makes sense, right? The sun.
Yeah.
17 is Tiwaz. Tiwaz is about victory, male energy, success.
The Emperor.
The Emperor. Did we already?
Because I associate Tiwaz with Mars, and Mars rules Aries.
So we're coming into a conflict here because Thursaz was either the Emperor or Strength. Well, we only have 22 cards and we have 24 rooms. So we're going to put the Emperor down here as well, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the 18th one is Bracano. This is
fertility.
It's fertility, it's pregnancy, it's the Earth Mother Goddess.
The Empress, Venus.
But we already did Empress up here.
We have to use her again.
Okay.
You have to use the card that corresponds. It doesn't matter if you use it more than once. If it corresponds, it corresponds.
I like the way you're thinking there. Next one is Ehwas. Ehwas is the horse and rider. It indicates a partnership to further your ends. Ehwas is progress. Vehicle, it could be marriage. Partnerships of all kinds, cooperation, fertility, to take control of a situation. That is Ehwas, the horse and rider.
Well, that's too literal. Yeah, it's a horse and rider, but it's not about partnership or...
It's got to have that partnership in there. It's a symbiotic.
This is what I call a cold marriage card. This is a cold marriage card, and the Hierophant is a cold marriage card. So it can be about marriage, justice, balance. It's Libra, and Libra is...
And partnership?
Yeah.
Okay. Justice. Next one is Manas.
Is Manas marriage?
Some people call it the marriage rune. It's like the two Wunjo runes, facing each other.
So you're doubling your happiness.
For those keeping score at home, we're down here to Manas, and Manas looks like that. So for Manas, let's go to my notes so we can get a little more in depth. Man and womankind. It's got his Heimdall, which he guards the passage between worlds. It's connected to Raiho. It's social structures for the tribe, cooperation between people for the common good. Can signify a relationship.
I would say the Lovers.
It can indicate legal affairs and matters when it comes up in a reading. But I
This
think...
is legal.
Which one?
Justice.
We just did justice for Ehwaz, but... the Lovers, did we do the Lovers already? We did the Lovers for Algies, but maybe the Lovers works for Manas as well. Man and womankind. Cooperation between people. Is that one more cooperation, or is justice more cooperation?
I would say the Lovers is more cooperation.
Okay, we'll go with the Lovers.
And this is balance, it's victory, it's triumph, dominion.
Okay. El Mundo, the world, balance. Would that one be more correspond with Gibo? We put temperance there.
If Gibo is about balance, I mean, yeah, this is balance. It's a fixed modality, so it's very stable. It's a card of stability.
What you give, you receive.
Yeah.
Let's go back to my notes for Gibo. Let's see if I have anything else that's a little bit deeper. Odin, equal exchange. You're expected to repay your gifts with more gifts. It's an heir. Trusted friend. Thoughts and gifts. Balance. Equilibrium. Marriage. Contracts. Boundaries.
Contracts, legal matters, balance, partnership, justice, Libra.
So we put justice for, we put temperance.
This is balance, but it's not about legal matters. It's more about overcoming your earthly urges, your carnal desires.
I think that more fits then. I think we're good there. Okay, so the next one is Laguz.
That's probably going to be the moon. This is a very feminine card. It's Pisces. It's intuition. It's a lack of clarity, kind of being in a fog. It's the 5D. Dreams.
Lake, water, sea. Its element is water. It really has properties of conducting and flow of energy. The flooding tide.
Yeah, I would say it's the moon.
Okay, the moon. I love it. Laguz is the moon.
Lagoon.
Lagoon comes from Laguz.
Yeah.
Next one up is Ing. Okay. Ing is fertility. Ing is female. A progeny, carrier of genetic material, reincarnation, continuation, completion, fulfillment, generation, growth.
It'd be this then. This is the last card. This is completion. You completed the cycle. You completed the fool's journey.
Okay.
The 21st card.
The world?
22nd card, but yeah, the 21 and the Major Arcana.
The world. Okay. Next one, let's see, 19, 20, 21, 22. 23 is Oth or Othella. And then we have Dagas, and then we're done. Okay, Othella is Odin. It has aspects of nobility, but it really has more to do with the home, inheritance, what has come down from you, for you. It has elements of legal things like land rights, blood and soil, your future, your progeny, your loyalty to your tribe, your protected enclave.
Judgment. I'm just trying to see this in a way that's not religious. It's not the rapture and tribulation, or that's not something petty.
What are the other properties of judgment?
Some associated with Pluto.
Does it have anything to do with your inheritance, your DNA, your passing down of...
No. It's not about that.
Blood and soil, Humanja, which is, the future of your people, the protected enclave, the home, your property, your home, what you would pass down to the generations. No clear match, is there?
No, I should be able to make this association, but death.
What are the properties of death?
Well, I just see it as transition, transformation.
That might be good for Dagas. Let's skip to Dagas while we think about Othala. Day, dawn, or noon. It is the change. It's the transference from day to dawn. It is...
the sun would be too obvious. Well, you've already decided the sun is Sawilo.
It's the part in between, light and dark.
I would say judgment then. That's
The
in between
supreme
the light and
mystery
dark.
of existence. It can function as a bridge. It can transform your consciousness.
Death or judgment.
It has elements of fire in it.
Sagittarius.
Death or judgment. I like what you said about death being a transformation. So I think that's a good match. Now we're back to Othala. Ruled by the god Odin, it has noble aspects as it's made up of both Gibo and Ingwaz. So if you had a little Ingwaz and then you put a Gibo under it, you'd have Othala.
I'm just not making this connection, and I've been doing tarot for years, but having judgment before the world, 20 to 21, seeing if you've learned your lessons, have you passed the test? Do you have what it takes to have dominion? Do you have what it takes to triumph, to be fully integrated, to be balanced, to be stable, to be competent in your environment? There's a test. And then if you pass it,
you get
got
the world.
So is there a rune about testing? You're being tested?
It's an aspect to some of them, especially when you go into like your runic journey. When you become, as you're trying to work towards mastery of the runes, you're constantly tested.
Yeah.
Each rune will test you. Every single one of them will test you. So I'm going to say we didn't come up with anything for Othala. Let's see.
It could be the Hierophant. I just get stuck on the Hierophant, but it could be that. Because that is about family. It is a marriage card. It's an abstract marriage card.
Thorson says it's the moon.
No, I don't see that at all.
We're talking about inheritance and, what you're going to pass down to somebody.
I wouldn't say the moon for that. It's not material, it's ethereal, it's the 5D, it's Pisces, it's mutable, it's changeable. The Hierophant is fixed, it's material, it's Earth, it's Taurus. Taurus passes down. Taurus creates generational wealth. And you have the literal wealth of the Catholic Church.
Holly Morag says it corresponds with death.
Well, I can see that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, you guys. We didn't come up with an exact one. I'll put this down here for you to look at while I read a little passage from the Master Nigel Pennick in regards to runes and tarot. Let's see. It's about rune cards. Okay, and he says, as far as cards go, in the tarot there are 4 suits called Minor Arcana and 22 other cards called Major. Each tarot card has a traditional image, a specific name and meaning. Although there are some similarities between the runes and tarot, Runes do not work in the same way. Although they are divided into 3 a tier, they do not function like the tarot suits. Also, although they may be likened to the Major Arcana in that they represent individual qualities and principles, there are no traditional images associated with the runes as there are for the tarot. This means that the different rune card decks are more likely to express the artist's or designer's personal interpretation of the runes, unlike the standard tarot deck of 78 cards. So he's talking about creating rune cards and the differences between the tarot. And the fact that there's no images really. You just get these little runes.
That's why the runes is a more challenging divination system.
But there's no pictures. The pictures make it easy.
Yes, the pictures make it a hell of a lot easier.
We had a couple of double hits on ours. We had death come up. There was a lot of death. Twice. Well, I think we had the devil come up twice.
Eventually, what you need to do is write a book on the runes, and you could even make your own deck. Kind of a marriage of the tarot and the runes. You can make your own deck at makeplaincards.com.
That's pretty cool. That's a neat idea. But thank you, Misty, for coming in and explaining tarot and how they might correlate with the runes. Would you be interested in doing astrology next?
Yes, I would love to do astrology. I feel a lot more confident with astrology than I do tarot, actually.
Okay, well, thanks for watching. Leave your comments below. We'd love to hear them. Misty and I will both answer them if we can. And look forward to our next video when we delve into the runes and astrology.